I don't know. Oh, and the brightness?
Yeah.
It's not showing there.
Maybe it's because it's already bright in here? Maybe.
So. I don't know. Karen, can you go on the other side over here and change that camera a little bit for us so I can tell you when it's all right? It needs to come up a little bit, like tilt it up.
Tilt it?
Yeah. That's better, isn't it, Stacy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Are you good there?
Okay, we have a couple people on. Good morning, Daisu. Good morning. This is the first day of our new mystery sew-along. We are going to we're going to do this a little bit different, aren't we, Stacy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how we're going to do this is I'm going to show you the block, and we are going to cut Stacy's quilt because Stacy's going to make one. Karen, right under that computer there, is there a slotted trim ruler for 3 inches? So then we're going to cut Stacy's today, and then he's going to show up next week with it finished. Right, Stacy? You're acting like you've just
I've never
heard this.
used that ruler before.
I'm going to show you how to do it.
So if you cut mine with that ruler and I go home and I have to square them up with my Timu one, we're going to have a problem?
Yes. You're going to take this home. You're not using Timu. Oh, glory. Here we go. Timu. Okay. You're going to just do it with this ruler, Stacy. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is our center of our quilt. That's the center. And I want to show you guys. I should have had this out just a sec.
What is?
My ombre fabric that I used.
Oh, there was a pile of it on the floor
I
there.
know, but I want to show the bowl.
You don't want to show the scraps?
Karen, there's another ombre fabric like this that's not that color with just gold. It might be in my office. Okay. Karen's gone to search down, and I'm going to show you how I cut the ombre fabric. So for those of you that followed along with our last ombre sew along, we're going to do it the exact same way as that. I'm going with the same colors as I did last time because I really liked it. And I actually had somebody want me to build them a quilt out of those colors, so that quilt is going to a specific person. Stacy, on the other hand, is going to use wild colors. Just
Mine is going to go in the pile.
What pile?
At home on the floor.
No. So Stacy is going to lean towards the colors that are shown in the pattern. So we're going to show you Stacy's colors. He's going to have these two in the center, and he's going to have these two in the center. So it depends on whether you want to go that route or if you want to go with the ombre. And I will show you how to cut the ombre, and Stacy is actually going to cut his fabric. That's it. So the downfall to this mystery is a lot of people might want to wait. It's only going to be 4 or 5 weeks. So it's going to be over in like a month and a half when you throw Chatsworth in there to the first of the month. It's going to be a month and a half. If you guys just want to follow along and see the progress, then you will get all the cutting instructions at that point. If I was to give you the cutting instructions now, then it would not be a mystery. And I am doing this as a mystery because I've had people request a mystery. So for those of you that don't like to do a mystery, it's only 4 or 5 weeks and you get the whole reveal and you get the whole pattern all at once. We are going to show you step-by-step cutting instructions each week. So get your pen and paper ready because you're going to have to take notes. So with that, does everybody like that? Like, is this intriguing to everybody? I kind of like it. I like the colors. I like the whole thing about it. So what we're going to do at this point, I'm going to fold it down and just pin it. I like the ombre too. So, and there's options for ombre fabric. I'm just going to fold this over and show you what we're going to work on first. We're going to break it down into easy. that's the center. So that's how easy it is right off the bat. So these are 3-inch squares, unfinished. So you got that wrapped around your head? You're making.
I was thinking 3.5.
We cut these 3.5, and I'll go over that. But they're right here. They're 3-inch squares. Okay, Stacy's going. Stacy, get over here so they can see your face of shock. He's just not sure of what he's getting himself into right now because I'm going to make him cut everything. So we're going to start by Stacy cutting. I'm going to go around and, or Karen, maybe you can go around and tilt that camera down on our hands. Karen's here today. Okay, Amanda's going to do, I'll tell you when to stop, Karen. Keep tilting down.
I could use Karen's hands, right?
Karen's hands.
She could be my hand model.
Keep going down,
Nobody
Karen.
would know.
Way down, way
Except for
down,
the wedding
way
ring,
down.
maybe.
Way down. Might have
Yep.
to tilt the whole machine.
Oh, this band's okay.
There
Gotcha.
we go. That's
Gotcha.
That's perfect.
You
Okay.
didn't give me
So
operating
you're gonna have
instructions.
to hear our voices and not see our faces, okay?
But our chest and just...
Our chest. And our chest and our bellies. Okay. For anybody doing the ombre fabric, your first step is to cut off a meter of fabric. And so I'm going to cut it off because I know I'll use it somewhere else in the quilt. And I want you guys to actually see what I'm doing. So I am, and I'm not exact at all. If it's 40 inches, if you got a piece that's 40 inches or a piece that's 50 inches, use it. It does not have to be a meter. The only reason I chose a meter is because it's easy to work with. I should cut the whole thing, huh, Steve? So then, I'm going to take it just like this. And I'm going to divide it into 3 groups, 3 different areas of gradation. So what I did is I brought this up and folded it like this so that it was easier to handle because nothing at this point has to be straight or squared. You're just doing a rough cut. So I'm going to cut off about this much of the light. I'm going to cut off about this much of the middle. And I'm going to cut a dark side. And if I want to cut it at, you know, gradation in this fabric isn't exact everywhere. So
But you kind of see where your dark becomes something, don't you?
right, right. And I actually see that I probably want to do that right around 12 inches. So now I have a whole full strip. I have 2 strips.
How did that happen?
Because I folded it that way. I have 2 strips of dark fabric to use. So then I'm going to see, actually, you know what? I might cut this into 4. Yeah, I'm going to cut this into 4.
Because the middle does seem to have more middle to it,
blues.
doesn't it? Yeah.
So then I'm going to have a medium section. And then I've got a half piece left, and I'm going to cut that into, just visually watch it. Doesn't have to be the same width at all. I cut this because it had blue. See how it's just starting to go into the light? And then I have this light here. So I have my 4 colorways.
Go into the light.
What?
Go into the light.
Go into the light. Please don't. Not yet, Stacy. Okay, so Stacy, we're gonna cut yours. So where's my block? I'm gonna hold it up. So most of you that have quilted for any amount of time know how to make a half square triangle. So that is what all of these are. So Stacy, your background is going to be what? He has chosen a bubble. Isn't that cute? Stacy, I'm just gonna, because I know we got lots of this here, make it easier for the camera, I'm just gonna cut a piece off, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Stacy, you're up. You're cutting. So Stacy, you need, because these corners are 3 inches, you need to cut a 3-inch strip. But, you know what I did?
What?
I cut a 3.5-inch strip. Because we needed a 3.5-inch strip in here, and so that I wasn't wasting fabric, I cut the 3.5-inch and then cut the 3.5-inch down to get my squares. So cut a 3.5-inch strip. I want to see how you cut it. How are you cutting it?
That's how I do it at home.
What?
Yeah.
Really? You cut it on the
I
side?
cut sideways like that. So 3 inches?
3.5.
See, I was going to screw it up already.
Cut a I've never seen this. So,
What's she doing?
Karen's over there laughing. Stacy's doing it. Okay. I've never seen anybody cut it that way, Stace. Okay. So, I just want to pin this. So now, you need to cut some 3.5-inch squares. How are you going to do that? Then what do? You get rid of that.
Yeah. And then I do it this way. I kind of line that up on the top.
So what are you lining? You're lining your
I'm lining the
line
black
up?
line up, yeah.
Oh, you line up that to get a square.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to toss that to the side. Just like everybody else, I use the biggest ruler in the house.
Karen and Twyla, though. Okay. Yep. You need 8. We really only need 4. No, stop there at 4. Well, it's easier to cut that whole strip down to 3 inches later.
Okay.
Okay, so now you need to pick, everybody at home, you need to pick 2 colorways. I picked a dark and a light, and Stacy's going with 2 colors, and he's decided to put the teal in there. So, he's going to have to cut a 3.5-inch strip of each of those teals.
I think there's 2 meters on each of these. Ugh.
Is that what you, just because that's what you have? So, how do you make sure it's straight? What do you do? What's your thought process? I see what he's doing. Wait, let's show people what you're doing. So he's going in. I see what he's doing. He's going in and putting his ruler straight across the top here and cutting down the opposite side to get a straight
Might not
cut.
be too accurate. Sometimes when you open them up at that fold, it kind of...
Well, I just wanted to figure out what your reason, how you were doing it. So that's how you're doing it. You're putting it there and you're making a cleansing cut to get your straight edge. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, go ahead.
And this is not my proper way of... That first one is sore on the arm, right? Not really the way you should do it.
Well, it's
leaning
you
or whatever.
do whatever you
And this
do.
is 3.5 too?
You want to cut 3.5, yes.
This one?
Yes, 1 strip. And then you need to cut that into 3.5-inch squares. Isn't it funny how I would have never done it that way?
See, and I'm just kind of lining up that dashed line because I can't really go by the solid line. And then I have to do this to make sure I didn't do it.
So how come you use the dashed line and not the straight line?
Because when I'm on the solid line,
Yeah.
I can't tell for me if I'm on it here and beyond it there kind of thing sometimes.
So you like this thinner line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
4 of them?
When Warren says that's how she does it too. And Kim Dilly says that's how she cuts.
Just 4?
Cut 8.
8.
We might not use them all, but cut them. You're going to use them somewhere else in the quilt.
I hate those ripples on them.
You hate a ripple? We could have pressed this fabric. Okay, so now you need to do it out of your other color. Okay. What are you looking at, Stacey?
Says this reminds me of a woman on YouTube that cooks.
Oh, really?
And she's got a very Paula Dean accent.
Oh, really?
And she's got the camera on her hands. But then when she cooks the dish, she'll say, "Here, y'all, look at that right there. Look." So, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, 3.5 again.
Watch it. Stop talking about Americans because Karen's American. Yesterday you beat Karen up because she was American.
I didn't.
You didn't beat her up, but you picked on her. Karen!
I can hear him.
So this is another thing I'll do when I'm at home.
Okay, do it. You're going to do more layers than one.
Yeah, I just fold it in half.
Wow. Okay. So would you use this big of a ruler at home?
Yes.
I do too. Yeah. Okay. So we have our white cuts. So now the next step will be is to drawing lines on the back of 4 of our whites.
Oh shoot, that was something I meant to bring today. I had those markers for the Timu thing. I forgot to bring them.
What kind of markers were they?
The ones with the yellow chalk or the white chalk and has the wheel in it.
Okay.
Oh, I should go home and get those.
No, you shouldn't.
I left the bread machine going this morning. That's fine, right?
What? I don't know, because you were having trouble with the electrical in that bread machine. Weren't you fixing a plug in
It was
that?
the belts broke.
And so
they
you left
rotted.
it alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, we're not quite open yet because we don't open till 10, but you're welcome to come in and walk around. What? Okay, so we're going to take, can we unhook that?
Come on in.
Just unhook that buzzer so it's not ringing. Okay, so I'm going to take this 3-inch square and I am going to sew it to this, my right sides together, and sew on either side. So Stacey, while you draw lines on this, I'm going to run in and sew that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
It's hard to tell which is the right side and the wrong side. All the white ones?
Yes, all the white ones.
Any of these ones?
So what we've done is we've taken and drew a line on there, and then we sewed on either side, and we're cutting it. And then he's going to use this ruler, not his Timu ruler. You have to borrow this. Take it.
Okay, I never know how to use that.
Okay, so I'm going to line this right up on my 3 line, and I'm going to trim off both sides so that I get a perfect half square triangle every
So the
time.
3-inch dotted line goes on the sewing
On the sewing line. So you go ahead and do that one.
Should have used black thread so you can see better.
Thread will show through, you fool. And we should have our rotating mat because then it would be much. See, if I had my rotating mat here. Sorry, Stace.
That's okay. I think it's just because it's a little gritty on the board. So what do you do with those? Then you don't do anything with
If
those?
I wanted to go in here like this.
Oh,
right?
it cuts the ear off.
And it cuts your ears off if you want to, but I never do.
Me neither.
No, I don't cut the ears. But anyway, that's how you would do that.
Okay.
So then.
Oh, but that's neat though. Cut the ears off.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what am I putting lines on them now?
Okay, so that's what, this is it that we're showing them.
Oh,
We're
no
gonna
more?
go out here. No, no more. We're gonna go out so you can talk to us, so you're not looking at our bellies. Okay, so these squares will fit in here. Imagine that in there, and you go all 4 around, okay? And then you're going to make your points out here. So everybody, you can take a screenshot. I'll take a picture of this and post it on my page. You're just making a morning star. That's all you're doing. And then you're joining it together with 3-inch cornerstones. I got him to cut 3.5-inch strips, so you can just trim off a half an inch and only need that 1 strip for there. Okay, so that's the first step, everybody. How are you with that, Stacy?
I'll have to watch it when I get home.
Stacy. Okay. So then, we have a piece of paper. Then your next step, Stacy.
2 pins at the floor.
You what?
Just saw 2 pins at the floor.
Then we're going to put this here. It's really easy. I'm just covering this center up so you can see this is the next step. So then after you get your star made, you're just going to go around and make the same half square triangles. I picked, even though it looks, and it is from, how much fabric do I need? Heather, I'm just winging this. That's why I say if you want to wait till it's all over. My suggestion at this point would be at least 2 meters of ombre fabric, because this cream from another bolt of fabric is a big part of the quilt. It's 5 meters of the quilt. So I'm 99% sure that you're going to have lots with 2 meters of 108 ombre fabric. And that's what this is, 108 ombre fabric. It's a mystery, Dana. Okay, so this is the next part that you're going to do. And although I've used one color, the pattern and what Stacy is using are 4 colors. So these are 2 different colorways. And what are you going to use for those, Stacy?
I was going to use those 2.
He's going to use those 2. Okay? So I'm going to tell you, for the center morning star, you need 2 colors, an A and a B color. And you need to cut 2 3.5-inch squares of each color. Where are your color squares? Pin those up. You need to cut 2 of this one and 2 of the light one, okay? And square them to 3 inches. And then you cut 2 3.5-inch squares of the background and each of these colors, okay? But when you come to the outside is using double of what, yes, Linda, there is going to be a pattern at the end. This block finishes at 20.5 by 20.5. So this block right here, you have to pick a C and D color, and you need 6 3.5-inch squares of each color. So you need 6 3.5-inch of your purple. You need 6 of those, and you need 6 of these.
And you said before that it's nice to have it shadowy, so a dark and a light,
Yes.
so that it kind of gives that shadow look.
In order to do these half square triangle blocks, you need 6. Okay? Anyway, once you get going, if you haven't cut enough, just cut some more. Like, I mean, once you start doing it, you'll see how they lay out. See, this is a half square triangle, and it's hooked to another half square triangle. See, that's a half square triangle. And then you just hook it to a half square triangle that has a dark and a light. Okay, and this is a half square triangle, and you hook it to a half square triangle with a different color and a light.
The same one, but just fun, isn't it?
Right, Daisu? Okay, so that's all it is. The block might look overwhelming, but it's not. I will post a picture of this so that you can use this as a guide. So that's your guide if you want to make it. Okay? Just keep in mind, this might not be for beginners if you haven't been able to figure out blocks. Remember when Twyla gave us homework once and we had to see a quilt and you had to make up your own measurements and you had to work from that? That's what this is. You're going to see this knowing that each block is 3 inches unfinished, and figure it out. Otherwise, in 4 to 5 weeks, we will post the pattern on my page for everybody to see. So these Wednesday mornings are just going to be fun mornings where we're going to show you our progress. If you can't follow it along or it's not detailed enough, just hold on till 5 or 6 weeks and you'll get it all. So are there any questions about this block? Does anybody have any questions? So Stacy's are going to be wild, like the pattern, and mine are going to be ombre. So I can repeat all of that again, but we did repeat it on the other video. Just give me a second here. You need 5 meters of background. You need, it actually calls for yards. You need 5 yards. And then you need 1/4 of a meter of, I gotta find the post. It's on my page. I didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 quarter meter cuts, and then you needed a meter of your favorite, and then you needed a half a meter of your other two favorites. So Stacy has a meter of this one, say, and then he would have a half a meter of each of these. Everything else is quarter meter cuts of scraps, colors that coordinate.
And then the background is 5.
And the background is 5 yards. Anyway, so look back over my videos. Wendy Levo posted all of my measurements in the comment section of the last video. And because we're short-staffed, we can't really answer, like, say 50 people. If 50 people call and ask us for all these instructions, it's better off just to wait till the end and we'll give you all the instructions. This is just a follow along. This is just a sew along. If you can watch it and keep up with it, great. I'll be anxious to see your quilts. We'll post as much as we can. This is not going to be a laid out plain sew along like Twyla usually organizes, because that's just not going to happen without Twyla. So what we're going to do every week is we're going to tell you and show you a block. And if you can keep up, then all the power. We would love for you to keep up with us.
Hope I can.
So Tracy, Stacy's going to show up tomorrow or next week with his all colorful block all done. We will go over those measurements again. But if you keep in mind that these are 3-inch blocks and they're only a half square triangle block, you can figure it out. 4 colors, or else do 1 ombre. And then you will end up with that block. Okay? Are there any questions? Okay. So, good luck, Stacy.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we want to go over? So this afternoon's sale, we'll have books. We will have a what? We have thread. We have some Lori Holt bundles coming out for sale. We have some meters of fabric coming out for sale. I'm going to show you what we're going to take to the quilt show next weekend and tell you a little bit more about that. There's another quilt show up around Pictou. Can't remember the name of the place. So I'm gathering 3-yard quilt kits, but I'm doing mystery wrap bags with them, and we'll show you maybe those this afternoon too.
Shipping, because Monday might be a holiday, right?
Yes, so we didn't ship out last weekend. We've gotten probably 20 comments saying I didn't get my invoice or I didn't get my tracking number. Because we were away last weekend, we didn't ship out this weekend. I made a post and said if you needed your product before us shipping it out in the next weekend, to let us know, and nobody let us know, so we didn't ship anything out. So that means you didn't get invoiced. Everything's still on hold so that you can ship all week or this weekend and not affect your shipping rate. So it's actually a benefit to you because you're saving on shipping costs for those that regularly shop every weekend.
Monday's a holiday. You might not ship Monday either.
Right, yeah. So it's probably going to go out on Tuesday. Okay, so I think, was that it, Stacey?
I think so.
I think so. So our cutoff has gone by for the perennial sew along. So anybody that books in for that, that's happening in January, you'll be on the waiting list. I did order a few extra just in case, but that deadline's gone by. Our Christmas sew along is going to start in about 2 months, and you can still sign up for that. And I think that's about it. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining, and happy sewing. Remember, your block is supposed to be 20 and a half by 20 and a half. Say goodbye, Stacy.
Bye. Mine'll probably be like 20 3/4 by 20 and a half.
No, it won't be. Okay, see you, everybody. Bye-bye.